Hi, everybody. Today, well, let me say for the audio. Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 39. Today, my guest is Stephen Chatterton. As a kid, Stephen developed his love of public relationships in the food industry and music, holding lead guitar positions in 4 rock and roll bands. It's amazing how I'm always getting rock and roll people like me. And he started in the hotel and motel management area and found out it was not his passion. And so he then entered sales and marketing. And from there, he did find his passion, talking and helping the common everyday person become an independent, self employed individual. And Stephen is amazing. He does this great income tax workshops. And I was honored to get to edit and publish his book for him. And I was struck by how outside the box he is in marketing his books. And so that was why I wanted to have him on this call. So, Stephen, welcome to the call.
Well, thank you so much. It's exciting to finally put the face and the publisher together when we work so well together.
Yes, it is. So, why don't you tell people a little bit of how you got into, how you decided to write your book? And you can tell a little bit more about your background if you'd like.
Well, I didn't start out wanting to write a book. I have
Okay.
a profession called ride sharing. Everyone knows it as Uber, but there are over 1,000 ride sharing companies. And I heard on one of the local radio stations how you can make $60,000 a year working 4 to 5 hours a day. And my wife and I looked at each other and said, "Yeah, right." And she said, "No, Steve, you love to drive, you love to talk, and you love to make money. This would be perfect." So I started that. In doing that, within 1 month, it became so dangerous
Wow.
and so, well, the word is dangerous
Mm.
that I contacted my best friend, and my best friend said, "There's a book here. I want you to make notes every day, and let's talk 6 months from now." Well, it didn't take 6 months. I had over 4 boxes of 3 feet tall combined with over 487 written documents against the company called Uber. Now, there I rode for Lyft and Via and so on, but Uber just absolutely defied the driver and made wonderful accusations of positive nature for the riders. And yet we were getting beaten up. In many cases, people lost their lives, put into dangerous situations. That I decided that I wasn't going to do what they call a tell-all book. I wanted to tell the positives because I had some great positives and some great stories. As people always ask me, it's like a candid camera, or I did many times cash cab, and so that's what brought me into writing this book. And it took a year and a half, as you probably remember me telling you, a year and a half to document everything, and then a year and a half to sort it all out so I didn't have redundancy. And then it was a year to find you. And I think it's important to tell people because of how I feel about you as a publisher who I'd never met, how I met you.
Oh,
And that
how did we meet?
I met you because I was having coffee at a local coffee shop, and my server, we back at my age, I'm 70, we called them waitresses. I looked up and it was Barb. Now
Oh my God.
Barb lives in Cortland, Illinois, and I was telling her how excited I was that I'm getting my book ready for publishing. And I said, "But I can't find a publisher." And she said, "Well, Steve, you were my mentor in one of the businesses. Well, I have a life coach like you. She's out of California. She's a publisher. Do you think, you might be interested in talking with her?" I said, "Well, yeah, what the heck." And I just gave her my business card and brushed it aside. It was about a week later, Ellen, when you contacted me and you listened to me, and you said, "Okay, here's a quote, guys." She said, "Well, you send me the manuscript. I'll let you know in a day and a half if it's doable." And so I sent it to you immediately. And less than a day and a half, you called me and said, "Well, Steve, it's doable. It's about 100 pages. I don't think we'll wind up with 100 pages, probably a little less. It's doable. This is my price. And I take credit cards. And you remember what I did, Ellen?
You signed up.
I gave you a credit card immediately. I didn't even know who you were.
Yeah.
And that's part of the story of the book writing, is that you work with people that you trust. I trust Barb
Mm-hmm.
impeccably. So if Barb wanted to recommend me, then I knew I was being recommended to a reputable person, and there was no question about pulling out my credit card. And for the audience needs to know that the minute the credit card was processed, which was right away, Ellen went to work right away. In less than 5 minutes, she called me up and said, "This is what I'm going to be working on today." So, I mean, she turned me on. Like, why did it take a year and a half to find a publisher? Okay. Well, it was meant to be.
Wow. Oh. Yeah, you're gonna make me cry.
Well, it's true. I mean, and I think everybody needs to know how you work. We're going to get on to, how I sell the books,
Yeah.
but I want people to understand, if you're looking at this video, this is right off the cuff of me talking to you.
Or audio, depending on how they're hearing it. Yeah.
And what Ellen does is important. She will come back to you and say, "You know what, Steve? I have this concern. I don't know if I'm interpreting it right. Could you explain?" And I said to you many times, and you'll remember what I'm about to say to you. I
Mm-hmm.
said, "You know what? I
Oh dear.
talked to hundreds of people on stage, and you are the professional. If you think something needs to be changed, I give you permission to do it." And then you said to me, which now I'm going to cry, is,
Yeah.
"You're a joy to work with, Steve."
Uh-huh. Yeah, because I mean, that is a coach's dream, is for somebody to trust you so much that they respect your opinion and listen to you. Because a lot of times, people will come and they want you to help them, but they get too attached to their own ideas and they're not able to let them go and do what's really best for the project. So it was a joy. Yeah.
It's exactly,
Yeah.
what Warren Buffett has trained us to do is let your ego go down the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
You got to swallow that ego, because you just said it. We take this as pride. It's our birth, and yet how many babies are born that are pretty ugly? I mean, so I was just open. That's the word I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I was open and trusting, and boy, the product came out great, Ellen. It came out great.
I'm so happy that you're happy with it, but I want to get on to the how you did this is just amazing to me. So once you had the book, then how did you start marketing it? Marketing it. Oh, why don't you tell people what you do first and how that connects to the book,
Okay,
too?
well, obviously, people are realizing that I am a motivational speaker. So what I did to market the book is the word they use today is pre-launching. I like to be real. I just talk to people. And I
Mm-hmm.
told them I'm in the process of writing the book. So one of the things that you as an authors out there need to understand, you have to think positive. This book is going to be published shortly. And so you got to self-promote it by letting people know right away that it's going to come out. And
Right.
what happened at that point, number one, I got pre-orders. Now, I didn't ask for money up front because I was a little timid to know when it was going to be released. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, I had not found a publisher. But I got their email, I got their name, and in many times I got their personal phone number. So now I had a pre-launch. So that's the prerequisite. Is have
Oh,
a
wait a minute.
pre-launch.
Wait a minute.
Don't
Wait a
have it
minute.
too long.
Wait a
I would
minute. Go
say
back.
3 months, 6 months.
Wait. It froze. So can you say that section again? We'll have
Yeah.
to cut that out.
Okay. The pre-launch is what I want people to learn is, you asked me how I got to sell my books. I did a pre-launch, and a pre-launch is merely talking about my writing to strangers, family, members, anybody, saying, "I'm in the process of writing this book. I'm excited about it, and it soon will be published." And they immediately ask you, "Well, what is it about?" And then I, becoming a comedian, I say, "Oh, well, that's $8." And they immediately laugh. "Oh, come on, Steve. What is it about?" Well, I'm doing ride sharing, and it's going to be the story of the good, the bad, and the ugly of this crazy popped up industry.
Hmm.
That sounds interesting. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, if you like a pre-launch book copy of this, no cost. Let me have your email and your name, and I'll get in contact with you. So there's the
So
clue.
you gave him a PDF of it then?
Exactly. Before it
Okay.
was published.
Uh-huh.
And I tell them in their email, this is pre-launch. There are spelling errors, paragraphic errors. So please just look at the content, and it's my pleasure to have it. Look forward to your wholesale cost of the book. And you do a follow-up approximately 4 weeks to 8 weeks. And you're building your list. In other marketing on the internet, they talk about the funnel. I
Hmm.
just keep it really simple. Get that out there that you're going to do it. It does one very, very important thing, and that is it keeps you honest that it's going to get published, and it keeps you focused. No
Yes.
distraction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Urgency, creating urgency.
Then there are so many books and short stories written about how to publish a book, how to do this, how to do that. And every one of them I've read said the number one problem that people have writing books is they don't write books. They give up. They give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Here's a little tidbit, a sidebar on it. The average person that publishes their own book without a professional like yourself, they just do it themselves.
Hmm.
They sell on an average 7 to 9 books. That's it.
Yep.
Okay. I've sold over 1,200 books in less than 6 months, and we're going to tell you how I did it. And that you don't have a video. Is that correct? They don't have a video?
What?
Do they have a video to see this, or I just
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about it
Some
just?
people will see it in video. Some people will be listening to the podcast. Yeah.
Well, I have the book here that Ellen just did a great job on, and I photocopied the book cover, and then on that I have on the bottom of it available on, in my case, it's Amazon for $5.99 plus shipping and handling tax, or Kindle for $2.99. On the back is a review of stuff saying, "How have you ever heard a new way to ride? Have you? What is it? As a driver, I can tell you things about the industry. Drivers will be discover." I give a little background on it, and then in the bottom I have my author's name, my personal phone number. That's a personal preference because I'm totally transparent, and my email. And I had these flyers in the back seat of my ride sharing. So when they got into the vehicle, they immediately saw this and they say Steve Chatterton, and they're looking at their phone and says, "Steven, oh, did you publish a book?" "Absolutely. I'm so excited." And then you zip it. "Well, what is it about?" I said, read the title. "So it's about me?" I said, "No, no, you're not that important yet." And they start laughing. And so I have 10 or 12 copies stapled to cardboard, and I tell them, why don't you go ahead and take one of those available, and read up on it. You can contact me. But wait, there's more. If you want a copy of the book right now, autographed, instead of $5.99 plus shipping and handling and tax, about $8, you can get it for the same $8. Now I realize most people don't carry cash, but guess what? I have Square today. I can take your credit card right now. When I
That's
first,
amazing.
it
Huh.
is amazing because I said $8 to you, but in actuality, if you remember, I was selling it for $5, and I was getting $5 for it, and I'd take a credit card, or they said, "Can I leave it as a tip on the Via or Uber app?" I said, "Absolutely." So that cut the time factor of delaying their exiting of the deal. They just put it as a tip on the app.
Hmm.
10 times when you do that. Okay, I did it 10 times. When I first started, 2 bought the book on sight unseen. I'm up to now in my other profession I'm doing, 9 out of 10 are buying the book, and it's going for $8. I creeped it up $1 at a time
I was going
until
to
I.
say you should keep, yeah, you should charge more. Yeah.
You've got to figure out what's the market and so
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So it was exciting. So now my market is $8, and if you belong to Amazon, um, you have the rights to buy so many books back at a wholesale price where they've already gotten their commission. And
Right.
these books are used at my seminars, excuse me. They're used as a seminar, a giveaway. I autograph them. People like three things, folks. Three things. Number one, they like to meet the author in person. Number one. Number two, they want the price to be right, and they met the author. They want the copy of the book right away. And in my case, three, they wanted the dirt on Uber immediately.
Mm.
And so it sold instantly. The other thing is I kept it short. Ellen was the only one that accepted the book. I'm not going to lie to anybody, but I met three other publishers. Met them in person. They were all wonderful people, but they said it's too short. And I said, people don't have time to read 200-300 pages on ride sharing, and particularly Uber. Just
Exactly.
give me stuff right now.
Yeah.
I stuck to my guns with 70 pages. Actually, Ellen, you got it at 101. We found redundancies and so on and so forth. And so within 6 weeks, folks, the book was on Amazon because of Ellen. So it's exciting on that. So I sold the books that way. The other way, folks, is, and I strongly recommend that you get extra copies. Instead of leaving a tip, 20% tip on your eating out, leave a book and call the server over and say, by the way, Julie, I want to tell you something. I'm going to give you something today more important than dollars, more important than anything else. You have met the author of my brand new book, and it is my honor to autograph it for you. And you autograph it for him right away. And now you got the book out. And then what happens to that book? The average book, paperback particularly, will change hands 3 times within 18 months, according to the studies on the internet. So you gave away 1 book, but 3 people read it. Also, how I sold the book, which is big, and that's what Ellen wanted me to talk to you about. I own 3 other companies. One of them is I am a highly tax preparer consultant. And this business evolved about 50 years ago. And I don't do taxes anymore. I consult people on taxes.
Mm-hmm.
In my book, there are 4 places that book is advertised where you can get my services. STC Income Tax Workshops, Stephen T. Chatterton, my personal phone number, and my email. 4 times in that book. Folks, you are now marketing 2 different ways of marketing. So if the book costs you $3, it really only costs you $1.50 because you can charge off on your taxes the cost of that advertising to one company and the actual cost of the book to the other company. It's just a phenomenal way of marketing.
Right, but the thing that was so striking to me is the fact that they were 2 completely different things, and you somehow managed to make them work together. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because that's perplexing.
Well, absolutely, and that's part of my 10 ways of selling books, and that is that you want to contact people that have similar interests to you. And then you're going to make a list of those on the left. And then on the right side, you're going to draw an arrow from their name, but those people that are publicly speaking, or in my case, going to public libraries and so on. And then I want you to go to the art section of your newspapers and look for books that are being published and so on. Make yourself available to be part of that book signing or that book offering or that book. So, and go and talk to the author and say, you know, I have a similar topic. Would you like to pair on it? And then what I also do, excuse me, folks, is that I do free luncheons. Folks, this is huge. I arrange with a restaurant. Now, I'm not talking
So
about a
you do
McDonald's that I
free.
started my life and making.
You said you do free lunches?
Yes, I do free lunches. I pick a nice restaurant, and I'm able to pick out a menu where they have 3 things on the menu: tax, tip, food, and beverage, less than $15. Okay? And I let people know this is available on this date and that day. Always have 2 alternate dates. And then you'll have 20 people at a luncheon. Okay? In that price of that luncheon, you want to build in the cost of your book. So my average luncheon is $21. Why $21? I don't know. I just picked a number. $21. Actually, that's not true. When I use my square, they charge me a fee, and I built in that fee into a round number. So having a
Okay.
little fun here.
Okay.
Okay. I also guarantee them in 15 minutes of that seminar, if they felt they haven't earned anything or learned anything in that seminar, full refund. Folks, I've never had to give a refund to anybody. Okay. Now, here's something you want to remember in marketing books or marketing anything. I'm going to say it slowly. BAM, FAM. BAM, FAM. That stands for the following: book a meeting from a meeting. So when I get done with the luncheon, I tell her, by the way, there's some paper next to your fork there. If you'd like me to come speak to your group free, just simply leave me your name, preferably your phone number and your email, and the best time to contact you, and I'll be glad to speak in front of your group. Book a meeting from a meeting.
So let me ask you a question. So when you're doing that, so you're selling books and you're making some money off the books, but then you're also marketing your income tax workshops because you're marketing them in the book, right?
Yes, but I go a step further.
Okay. What's next?
I invited other guests who have their similar works or similar connections to taxes.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is called Legal Shield. Good friend of mine is a big wig in the Legal Shield. He'll come and talk 20 minutes about how you should have ID protection and theft protection and how it's a tax write-off related topic.
Mm-hmm.
They speak for 20 minutes. They have PowerPoints or whatever. So I have 4 people speaking over a luncheon of approximately 1 hour and 40 minutes. And out of 20 people, 4 to maybe 5 will linger on. And that's when you really start selling what you have to sell. Okay.
And then
now,
how much do you sell? How much do you sell them? How much is the workshop that they're going to go into?
$21.
No, but what you're selling in the book.
Oh, when I'm selling my seminars of my
Right. So then, yeah, what's the back end? What's the back end?
The back end on it is up to 5 people, up to 5, $100 an hour.
Okay.
If you have 20 to 400, okay, it is $300 an hour, okay, airfare and a modest hotel, okay, and I give you another hour free over lunch. So they're getting 2 hours for $300 plus expenses. Now, if it's 20 people, we'll go to IHOP or Denny's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said, why 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Because there's nobody there.
Right.
And for a cup of coffee.
Right.
And I can get in and out of Denny's in about an hour and 40 minutes. So I'm selling on the back end. Also, I don't ask any of my guest speakers, unlike other people that I see in the industry, asking them for a percentage of their sales.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually boosting my sales by having a multitude of topics. And I encourage everyone to look at it. Now, there's 2 advantages to this. Very important from a tax point of view. Number 1, the luncheon is 100% tax write-off. Number 2, your books are 100% tax write-off. Number 3, you get 54.5 cents a mile currently for going to the seminar and back. We did seminars on a cruise ship. We got into Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We had 3 seminars set up, got on the cruise ship. We unannounced, people asked us to do a seminar for 2 people on the book and so on. And we got off the ship. We had 3. The entire trip from the time we left DeKalb, Illinois to Fort Lauderdale Fair, the luncheon, the hotels, the cruise, everything was 100% write-off.
Amazing.
It is amazing. But here's the final statistic, repeating what Warren Buffett has trained us to say, and believe it. You're not bragging, you're branding. Folks, I've been doing this for 50 years. For 50 years as a tax preparer and consultant, I have always filed my taxes. Always. In 50 years, I've never had to pay federal income taxes. And here's the big one, folks. In 50 years, I've never been audited.
Don't tell everybody.
Why not? Because I got nothing to hide.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
If you do it legally,
Yeah.
You do it legally. And in my case, I have a belief system. I believe in what I do. I follow the golden rule. There's no way to be audited on it. And my wife says the same thing you said. And I said, honey, if I ever got audited, I tell them I'm going to order a chicken salad sandwich on rye with chocolate milk. What do you want? And go for the records. I am so documented. The camera and people can't see it. This is office of paperwork everywhere.
Hmm.
But I know where it is.
That's important. Well, I got to say, I mean, I'm just so impressed with your knowledge and just the thinking outside the box and making things work together that people normally would not ever think to put together. And it just shows you that it just takes some creativity, you know, to do whatever it is you do and sell books.
Well, the challenge that's selling books is that most people rely on the internet or they rely on an outsource,
Mm-hmm.
like a bookstore or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, just use common sense. A bookstore has over 50,000 titles. There isn't a clerk in the world making $9 an hour that's going to promote your book over 50,000 volumes or whatever. So you have to learn to be a excellent promoter.
Yeah.
And I happen to be gifted with the ability to talk. I've also been gifted to be surrounded by multimillionaires of training in my 50 years. And I learned all of my motivational training through my father and a great man called Zig Ziglar,
Mm-hmm.
actor Pat Boone, and you got Combined Insurance, which is many of the other people in that companies. And what my wife calls me is a sponge. I go
Mm-hmm.
to these seminars and I just master it in my brain. I'm taking notes like crazy. Then I take 2 days off and I organize my notes. And it's interesting that you can go from seminar to seminar to seminar, multimillionaires, and they all talk around the center theme: love yourself, understand yourself. Folks, if you don't understand yourself, you better come and talk to Ellen.
Well, I don't know if I can help them understand themselves, but I can help them understand what they're trying to communicate to their audience.
Well, you talk about communication. I use
Yeah.
humor
Yeah.
in everything. I was doing a stand-up comedy, which I never win, by the way, but I did it, and I put my sunglasses on. And I get a heckler, and he says, "Why are you wearing sunglasses?" So I tilt them up, and I look at him, and I go, "Yeah, you're ugly." And I turn about 10 degrees to the left, and I have put the glasses back on, and I lift them up, and I say, "Ma'am, are you related to him?"
Oh, that's not nice.
You know, it's all about humor,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And so, not everybody's going to be gifted with humor. Not everybody's going to be gifted with
Yeah.
great punctuality. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, every single book, and I say this openly and truthfully, if you open up a book today, whether it be off your library or go to a bookstore, there are going to be I can't even say the word, grammar errors. There are going
Uh-huh.
to be paragraphs that are out of alignment. As an author, get over yourself. Forget about it. As I'm from New York, forget about it. Let the book do it's exciting. And also remember, the writers are the worst critics.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So, I just tell people, align yourself with people that are willing to tell you the truth. Okay? The truth hurts. Now, I've been fortunate with you, Ellen,
Mm.
is that the truth that you talk to me about is done in such a gentle way, a sincere way, that I never felt offended.
Well, that's good.
Never.
Yeah, that's good.
But there are people out there that are so stuck like super glue on this paragraph, on
Yeah.
this page,
Yeah.
and so on, that when it's rewritten, it may not make sense to you. But you got to remember, it's not important to you. It's important to the 10,000 plus readers that are going to want to know about who you are.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sometimes people get all caught up in what they think and they don't realize it's not, like you said, it's not about them. It's how their audience relates to them. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for coming on. This has been absolutely fantastic. Do you want to tell people how they can reach you?
Well, yes, and I'm going to give you a freebie today.
You are? Okay.
Yes. for the next 10 people that call me within a week. We're recording this, so it'll be Monday. Let's see, Monday would be the 9th. So
Right.
for next week, from 9 to 14, the first 10 people that call me, okay, and arrange for me to talk with them for 15 minutes, they're going to get 15 minutes of free tax advice related to how to market their books.
Fabulous.
My name is Stephen Chatterton. That's a Chatterton. Before I give you the rest of it, did I tell you I was going to do this, Ellen?
No.
No, it's a surprise to you.
Surprise, surprise.
By the way, you can't call me.
I have a copy of the book.
I know you do, yeah. Okay. The email is S as in Stephen, T as in Tom, C as in cat, H as in Henry, T as in Tom, T as in Tom, 65@gmail.com. My direct phone number, Central Time, is 936-230-4676. 936-230-4676. Now, I may not get back with you right away, but I guarantee you, speak slowly because I have hearing aids. Tell me who you are, how you heard about me, and then how do I get my 15 minutes free, no charge. And by the way, it probably will wind up being a half an hour. I don't charge.
And I'm like that too. Yeah, I'm that way too.
It's free. I'm going to coach you on how to market your book and how to make really good money. Remember, and I close, the average person only sells 7 or 9 books. We want to teach you to sell at least 100. Okay? So you feel better that it's worthwhile. And I can help you do that. Thank you so much for having me on board.
Oh, you're welcome. For everybody watching or listening, Stephen told me this was his very first podcast, and you're just an absolute joy and a natural. Fabulous stuff. So again, thanks so much. To get the transcript and to listen to the audio, it'll be at www.booksbusinessabundance.com/podcast. And I'll put the contact information to reach Stephen there as well. And you can also find the information for how to join our conversation in the Facebook group. And that's where you can ask questions, delve deeper into today's topics, and share comments and takeaways. And there is a free book writing guide also on the page. So again, that's www.booksbusinessabundance.com/podcast. So that's it for today. Bye-bye.